Welcome to this monthly training on environmental compliance. Course objectives. After completing this course, you should understand why environmental compliance is important, your role and responsibilities as they relate to environmental compliance, key requirements for properly managing hazardous and universal waste, stormwater pollution prevention strategies, emergency procedures, and how to prevent and respond to a spill. Veritiv understands the importance of the environment and is committed to being a good environmental steward. The first step to achieving this is sound environmental compliance. This training is intended to provide all production co-workers with awareness on environmental compliance requirements. Everyone needs to be knowledgeable and alert to ensure a strong program. Environmental compliance is becoming an increasingly important part of doing business. Our people care. Our customers care. Regulatory environment is challenging. Frequent agency inspections, steep fines and penalties for non-compliance. Veritiv's environment, health and safety policy. At Veritiv, we are committed to protecting the health and safety of every person who works in our facilities and lives in the communities in which we do business. We embrace our role as stewards of the environment. Our passion for operational excellence and our core values form the foundation for sound business decisions that are protective of human life and minimize adverse impacts to the environment. Your responsibilities. Coworkers are responsible for understand and follow all environmental rules, policies, and procedures. Use stop work authority to halt any work that poses an imminent threat to the environment. Promptly report all incidents and raise environmental concerns and suggestions to the appropriate leaders. Now let's review hazardous waste. What is hazardous waste? Hazardous waste is a waste with properties that make it potentially dangerous or harmful to human health or the environment. A waste is classified as hazardous waste if it meets one of the following characteristics: ignitable, corrosive, reactive, or toxic. A waste may also be classified as hazardous waste if it appears on one of the lists of known hazardous wastes. These lists are referred to as the F, K, P, and U lists. Hazardous waste is regulated. Important. Hazardous waste may not be thrown in the regular trash. There are strict rules and requirements for the storage and disposal of hazardous waste. All coworkers should be aware of container requirements and report any non-compliance. Container lids must be kept closed except for when adding, removing waste, bungs, lid ring, bolt installed, and hand tight. Containers must be accessible, make sure there are aisleways and accumulation areas. Liquid-filled containers should have secondary containment. Containers must be in good condition and free of severe rust, major dents, leakage. Haz waste requirements, labeling. Labels must be legible. If writing is messy or faded, it must be relabeled. Containers must be labeled as hazardous waste and include completed label, the following information clearly legible: physical composition, hazard properties, generator EPA ID number, i.e., name and address of generator. Accumulation start date. Labels should be affixed to the side of the drum, which is facing outward to the aisle in the storage area. Divisions are responsible for ensuring that inspections and training take place at the required frequencies. Only designated individuals at each division who are familiar with manifest requirements should be signing hazardous waste manifests. Haz waste requirements, other. Weekly inspections of storage areas, containers are required. Hazardous waste manifests required when shipping hazardous waste. Basic training required for personnel who handle hazardous waste. Emergency plan procedures required. Now let's review universal waste. What is universal waste? Universal wastes are common materials that, due to their volume and the nature of their components, are considered a limited hazard and require some minimal control to ensure they are disposed properly. Common examples of universal waste include electronics, batteries, aerosol cans, fluorescent lamps. All Veritiv locations generate universal waste. Make sure your division has a program in place to manage it. Universal waste requirements. Universal waste must be accumulated in compatible, closed, labeled containers. Containers are available from common vendors like Grainger and Staples. Labels must say, universal waste, and identify contents and accumulation start date of when waste is first stored in container. Containers must be sent to a universal waste recycler within 1 year. A quick internet search will show you waste recyclers in your area. Shipping documents, such as a bill of lading, may be used to document their disposal. Hazardous waste manifests are not required. Now, let's review stormwater pollution prevention. What is stormwater? Many people do not realize that the water that goes down our storm drains flows freely into the rivers and oceans that we swim in. Stormwater is untreated water created from rain or melting snow that does not soak into the ground, but runs into nearby waterways. Stormwater does not flow into a wastewater treatment system. It flows directly into our surface waters. Our stormwater conveyance system consists of our gutters, storm drains, and underground pipes. What we do on the land affects the water quality and the habitat of our creeks and rivers. It also affects our quality of life, our fisheries, and our recreation. The drain is for rain. Almost all other discharges are not allowed. An illicit discharge is any discharge of pollutants or non-storm water materials allowed to enter the storm sewer systems. Examples of illicit discharges: dumping chemicals into drain, oil leaks and fuel spills, paper dust or plastic debris washing into drains, trash not picked up allowed to go into drains. There is a small list of substances that are allowed to go down the storm drain. These consist of mostly clean water sources. Everything else must be managed appropriately as waste, hazardous waste, or universal waste. Allowable stormwater discharges: fire system testing or response water, potable water sources, atmospheric condensate, landscape irrigation, foundation and footing drainage, incidental wind-blown mist from cooling towers. Everything else is prohibited from going down the storm drain. Review best management practices with coworkers. Trash cans and dumpsters should be periodically checked to prevent overfilling and possible trash washing into a drain. Dumpsters should have lids and be kept closed. Liquid chemical containers should be stored in secondary containment. Ensure vehicles are maintained and report leaking vehicles. Use storm drain covers when transferring chemicals outdoors, for example, fuel transfer tankers. Ensure a maintenance schedule is in place to regularly sweep outdoor areas of trash, debris, and leaves. No washing vehicles or other dirty objects outside unless all rinse water is collected and disposed of properly. Promptly report and clean up all spills. Now let's review emergency preparedness and spill prevention response. Spill prevention. Everyone is responsible for spill prevention. Coworkers who handle or work around hazardous materials and hazardous waste must take measures to prevent spills. Spill prevention measures include regular inspections of chemical-filled containers, piping and equipment to monitor for leaks, ruptures, pressure buildup, etc. Following established protocols for loading, unloading, and transfer of chemicals, use of double-walled tanks, leak detectors, and/or high-level alarms, use of secondary containment and diking. Spill response. First, attend to personal injuries. Dial 911 if life-threatening, otherwise call for first aid help. Splash in eyes. Immediately, rinse eyes with water continuously for 15 minutes. Forcibly hold eyes open and rinse behind eyelids. Obtain medical attention. Spill on body. Remove contaminated clothing and flood-exposed area with running water for 5 minutes. Make sure spill has not accumulated in shoes. The next step is to assess the situation. You should be able to tell in a matter of seconds whether this is something that can be managed safely by a few people on site, or whether more extensive help is needed. Is it a simple spill or a major spill? Simple spills. Do not spread rapidly. Do not endanger people or the environment except by direct contact. Can be managed safely by the local team, which is trained to use the material. Major spills. Spread rapidly. Endanger people and/or the environment. Present an inhalation hazard. Create significant contamination that is difficult to clean up. Finally, initiate action. Simple spills. Notify affected people and a manager. Keep the area clear. Isolate the spill and cover nearby storm drains. Plan the cleanup. Major spills. Dial 911 if the hazard is severe and puts people at risk. Notify top management and EHS immediately. Activate the alarm, evacuate, assemble at a safe distance. Account for people and warn others not to enter. Wait for and provide information to responders. If safe to do so, cover nearby storm drains while you wait for help. Simple spill cleanup procedures. If it is a simple spill and the local team can handle the cleanup, follow these steps. Determine the identity of the spilled material and consult SDS to determine potential hazards. Contact EHS for support if needed. Avoid breathing vapors and increase ventilation, if possible. Open windows. Remove all ignition sources from area if spilled material is flammable. Wear appropriate PPE. Thoroughly clean up spill from the outside edges inward using absorbents so as not to spread the spill. Dispose of all cleanup materials and contaminated PPE as hazardous waste. When in doubt, reach out to your regional safety manager or EHS manager for guidance. Check your emergency response, spill cleanup supplies periodically to make sure that you are well stocked. Also, anytime you use these materials, make sure to report it to the appropriate personnel so that replacement supplies can be ordered. Here's an example of equipment and tools we need to check for. Emergency safety showers, eye washes, first aid kits, portable fire extinguishers, personal protective equipment, spill kits in overpacked drum, absorbents, pillows, pads, pigs, kitty litter, neutralizers, acid sodium bicarbonate or acid spill kit, base sodium bisulfate, citric acid or base spill kit, dustpan brush, caution tape. Thank you for participating in this monthly training. If you have any questions, please reach out to local management or your regional safety manager. They will be glad to answer questions you might have. Have a safe and productive day.